Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
I'm excited about this week. We're starting out today with something. I don't know that this has ever happened. Greg's hosting today.
Greg.
No way.
What do you mean, no?
I mean, I'm born to be number two.
Well, I mean, I'm looking in that studio over there. I only see one person sitting in it, and it's you, buddy. I feel
Where's
like
Stugotz?
you're captaining this ship today.
Where's my safety blanket?
Stugotz was here, and then he walked out.
How can you say you were born to be a number two when you host your own show, The Greg Cody Show with Greg Cody?
That's a good point. It is with, by the way. Thank you for that,
Yeah,
Billy.
of course.
Yeah, but that's a smaller scale. You know, we're a boutique podcast.
Really?
Yeah, we're boutique-y.
But I feel like that's how these things start, right? Like first you start off and you're just Johnson, and then you grow, and then boom, Johnson and Johnson, and then you're like this massive corporation.
Okay, you just associated me with Woody Johnson, by the way.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
they're related.
Are you related?
Yeah, don't do that again.
Oh.
No, Woody is related to the Johnson & Johnson conglomerate.
Oh.
I am not related to Woody Johnson.
Huh.
Your voice sounds right now like it did at the 4 a.m. shift.
Okay, there's a reason for that. Okay. I had a long weekend without my wife.
Wow,
and
baby.
without any dolphins or hurricanes. So basically, I had 5 days alone at home to do whatever I wanted, drinking, napping, football. I had no obligations for the past 3 days, so you may hear that in my voice.
Well, what did you choose to do?
I chose to do all of
Number
that, drinking, football, and unscheduled napping.
Spare us all the details.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you all the details. Believe me, that'd be too lurid.
That is just you home alone.
I know.
You didn't call me asking to turn on the... You've learned how to turn on your TV. Or did you call Michael?
Well, your mother left me a little Post-it note with details because I still think, ESPN Plus should be a channel. Somebody should tell me it's channel 211. But
You also texted me this weekend asking me what channel ESPN Plus was.
Right. That's what I mean, and you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I called you, and I told you.
Right.
That I told you that I tweeted out
What'd
the
you
photo.
tell him? It's not a channel?
I told him it's not a channel, and I
Right.
just tweeted out your text.
Everything I'm watching on TV should be a channel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that, but are you struggling to find football? Is that the problem?
I mean, a little bit.
Right.
The Thursday night game, I had to jump through hoops to find that. Prime Video or something. It should be a channel. I should be able to punch 211, and there's the game. But I found the red zone. I dove into the red zone yesterday. I watched like 6 hours in a row of red zone, which is crazy. It can't be good for your mental health to watch that much football. Mm-hmm. But my wife was out of town.
Yes.
I had no obligations. Dolphins weren't playing. Canes were off. I had nothing to cover, nowhere to be. I was totally off, a single man, home alone for the weekend. That's why you hear it in my voice.
Sounds gross.
Best weekend of your life, though.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice. Super nice.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chatting the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go on, man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Le Batard is out this week. He is out in L.A. He is covering the L.A. Clippers for us. We'll check in with him throughout the week. But we are here. We are coming off a big football weekend. We got a lot coming up this week. It's the lazy river, and there are 2 rules to this lazy river, Greg. Number 1, have fun. Number 2, allow the river to take you wherever the river may take you.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Wherever we go, we go.
I want a picture. Am I on like a rubber raft? Am I in a canoe? Like,
Hey,
where am I?
you have people canoeing down a lazy river.
Okay, so I'm the passenger, and I have others doing the labor.
Have you ever been in a lazy
rowing.
river?
Huh?
Have you ever been in a lazy river?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it.
In a canoe.
In a canoe.
What do you wear? What do you travel in a lazy river?
Greg's thinking of an
yeah,
actual
too.
river.
Yeah, he doesn't
Right.
know what a lazy
Yeah,
river
I
is.
regular
think of an
river,
actual
yeah.
Have you been to a water park where there's just a lazy river? You get in, it's got a little flow to it,
Yeah.
and just goes around and around and
Yeah.
around. It's really lazy.
Yeah, it's lazy, except you're surrounded by 500 people.
Right.
So you can't be lazy while in the middle of Grand Central Station.
I understand, but you're not allowing the river to take you where it takes you. If it takes you to 500 people, it takes you to 500
Okay.
people. That's the way it works.
How do we feel about the non-tubed annoying kid on a lazy river? It's like, all right, if you want to go fast, fine, but at least get in the tube. I
Right.
don't like the kids that aren't on tubes. They're splashing everybody.
Right.
That's not the way a lazy river
They're
works.
swimming with the flow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't been to a water park in about 30 years, and nor do I plan to again, ever.
I would actually go. I bet it's been longer than that. What is the last water park you were at?
I am not a water park guy.
Really?
No, I don't. I don't walk around without a shirt on. Are you kidding me?
You can keep your shirt on there. I mean,
Well, but then you feel weird. Right? You gotta
No, I
you gotta
don't.
do as people do when you're
Right.
at a water park.
Chris, are you okay without your shirt off in public? Without your shirt on, excuse me.
I've gotten more comfortable with it,
Right.
oddly enough, as I've gotten older. I was
Yes.
in my 20s, a little insecure about it, but now I just let the world eat.
All right. Roy, you okay with it?
Yes, I was shirtless in Key West. We did content around that for the barbecue competition. So,
Right.
yeah, I was on video.
Which you won, by the way, huh?
Yes, I did.
How about that?
You're not going to ask me?
Did you win?
I was getting around to you. What do you mean? Jess?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Billy?
I'm good. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, we're fine.
All right.
Why? Can I ask Roy a question? Why do we have 1 o'clock hockey today? Because we have quite a nice little sports day, by the way.
This is the greatest sports day of my life.
We got 1 o'clock Panthers.
Stugotz.
No, Jess. This is the greatest sports day of my
'Cause
life.
the
Why?
Because
Why
the
is that?
Panthers-
Hold on.
The
Why?
Mets?
Why is it the greatest sports day of your life?
Because I have the Panthers.
Yeah.
I have 1 o'clock hockey.
Yeah.
I have game 2 of the NLCS, followed up by a Monday Night Football game, Jets and Bills for first place. That's when you're a fan of the Jets and Mets. Today is a good day.
Yeah.
We don't get many of these days, and today I have myself a good day, and it is staggered correctly. I get the NLCS at 4:15. I get Monday Night Football at 8:15. It's perfect. And you have the Yanks as well.
I don't think you're arguing it's the best sports day. You're just saying it's as good as a Monday as you can have.
The best sports Monday of my life. It could also be the worst.
Yes. I was going to
I'll
say.
get back to you.
Is it a day where you have your hopes up, or is it you're not going to go that far?
I have my hopes up.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
I do.
I'm sorry.
I mean, the Mets are in the NLCS. They're taking on
true.
the Dodgers. Otani's good.
Is he? I got to watch him.
He is good. And, yeah, I'm hopeful for the Jets because it's football. It's Monday Night Football.
Right.
They're at home. Coaching change and hopefully a little jolt for Aaron Rodgers.
You know what's weird about Otani though? He actually hasn't had a great postseason yet. Like he has mortal numbers. He's got average numbers, and we always expect him to dominate and be the guy who's already hit 4 home runs, but he hasn't yet. So I expect him to just be lights out from here on in.
It means he's due. I think that's
Yes.
what it means with him. It's been an incredibly small sample. He's due.
It is.
He was
right?
2 for 4 last night with an RBI.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
I didn't watch the game.
But have you watched a single game in the postseason?
I have, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I watched the other day when L.A. beat San Diego, and what a pitching performance. That had to be one of the best all-time staff pitching performances in the history of the postseason.
Well, the
I'm
Dodgers,
serious.
to your point, the Dodgers are currently in 33 straight innings of shutout baseball.
But I'm talking about that particular
Crazy.
game.
Yes.
Where they two-hit a great offensive team. Manny Machado disappeared. He crawled into a hole, and it was just amazing to see, mainly because I was rooting for the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, Otani through 6 games is batting .250.
Yeah.
He's not, not great numbers.
No.
To answer Chris's earlier question, is Indigenous Peoples Day, also known as Columbus Day. So there are 3 1 o'clock hockey games.
That's why my kid's not in school today.
Columbus Day is taking a hit, huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
yes.
Used to be a bigger deal. Well, I understand why it's taken a hit, and it deserves to take a hit. I'm not arguing, but growing up, Columbus Day was a big day.
Was it?
It was. It's a national holiday. What do you mean?
I feel like Columbus Day ranks just above Arbor Day. Among holidays. I mean, Columbus.
Well, do they
God
play
bless
hockey
Columbus.
on Arbor Day?
Yeah, I don't know. Do they? When is Arbor Day?
Huh.
I kind of want my dad's top 5 most meaningless holidays.
I will have that later in the show.
Really?
I get what you were saying about like it's Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, but like I still don't understand why hockey's being played at 1 p.m. though. Like that's the connection I'm still kind of missing. I understand it's a national holiday, but I don't understand the hockey 1 p.m. connection to
Yeah, I
it.
don't either.
Probably played in places where kids are off of school. By the way, Arbor Day is April 25th next year. So yes, hockey is played on that day.
At 1?
Excellent. Let's do it.
Is
I
this
don't
some
know
sort of
exactly.
tradition? Is what Billy is trying to get to the bottom of? Like on every Columbus Day, do we play hockey at 1 o'clock?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Checks out.
Huh. So Greg's gonna have a top 5 holidays that have taken a hit.
Top 5 meaningless holidays, I think, is the way we're going to phrase it. Right?
All right.
Yeah. So we'll see where that leads.
Because it got me to thinking about top 5 people in sports who connote an explorer.
Matt Holliday.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Oscar De La Hoya.
But like, why did the Blue Jackets not play today?
By the way, Arbor Day, that's the playoffs. So there's nothing in schedule right now. So we don't know if there's going to be a day game or not. Probably not because it's a Friday.
Okay. All right. Arbor Day.
We used to get Casimir Pulaski Day off. That's probably the most Chicago sentence I could have said.
What?
Was that Polish?
He was a Polish American Revolution general, I think. He's like the father of the American cavalry. I don't really remember much else about Casimir Pulaski.
Nor should you. Drew Holiday.
That's good.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a holiday.
How was your football weekend, Greg?
It was good. I'm going into tonight's MNF. I'm 11-2
Really?
straight up. I haven't figured out my line against the spread, but generally when you're 11-2 straight up, you're going to be pretty good against the spread. Mm-hmm. So it's a good week for me.
FP Santangelo. It's a great name for an explorer. It
Yes.
really is.
Yes.
Thank you, Roy.
Yes, it is.
Thank
You're
you.
right.
Play this game all day. What'd you make of Nick Sirianni? I thought it was fascinating to watch. The Eagles, I'm going to stand with Sirianni here. And here's the reason. For people that missed it, the Eagles won the game. They beat the Browns. The Browns haven't scored 20 points in a single game the entire season. But the Eagles win that game, and Sirianni is jawing with the fans, Eagles fans, because they're chanting that they want him fired.
Yeah.
And so Sirianni goes at it with the fans, and then afterwards, I don't know if you saw this in the press conference, he shows up with one of his kids, which is a great move when someone's about to ask you very difficult questions.
Yeah, it's like a shield.
Right, here's
a
my
human
kid.
shield.
Right, and
Right.
he used his kid as a shield. You're right. And so Sirianni, here is why I stand with Sirianni. He is the first Eagle and only Eagles coach to make the playoffs in his first 3 years as head coach. He's made the playoffs 3 consecutive years. He was a play away from beating Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And the fans, during a win, are still cheering for him to be fired.
Yeah.
I understand why he would say something back to them.
Nick, do you know what city you're coaching in?
Right.
I mean, if you're coaching in Philadelphia, you can't have thin skin. You can't have rabbit ears. You just can't. It's going to drive you absolutely crazy. That's the one city that almost prides itself on booing Santa Claus and anybody else. And you know what? They just barely beat a bad Cleveland team with Deshaun Watson. I can see where Philadelphia fans watching Detroit decimate Dallas can think, wow, we're barely beating Cleveland? How good are we anyway? But Philly fans, he could be in the Super Bowl, and if they punt on the first series, he'll hear somebody booing.
How about you just don't act emotional? How about you act like a leader of men and you let the fans heckle you and you won the game? It's just not a good look. Like, I get it. In theory, everything he's saying is justified. Like, they won. He's been getting crap from the fans. But be the bigger person. Like, you're the number one person in this organization,
right?
And you're just letting little hecklers get to you. It's just not. While I see both sides of this. While like the Chris like, the fun rabble-rouser guy, I get it. It's fun. Yell at the fans. But then it's like, leader of men, like, what are you doing? It's just a terrible look.
Right.
Placido Polanco.
Oh, that's a good one.
Taylor suggested that
That
one.
is a good one.
That's
Fernando
good.
Valenzuela.
Oh,
How about that?
how about that?
Yeah. Placido Polanco sounds like an opera singer as well.
Billy, how do you feel about Sirianni? Because that's Nick Sirianni. You want him to change? I mean, he's being heckled. And so I don't see why he can't say something to the fans without receiving the blowback that he's getting. He has to be the bigger man.
I mean,
In that city, he has to be the bigger man.
Yeah, if he wants to keep his job, he beat a 1-5 team now. Like it wasn't an impressive win. He barely beat the Browns.
Right. But you're discounting the first 3 seasons, aren't we? I mean,
No, we're just saying don't argue with fans.
I mean,
really
it's
all
not
we're saying.
okay. No, it's not just that. It was a home game. Like it wasn't like he was on the road and he was screaming at the fans. Opposing fans were heckling him. Like this was a home game.
right. So he's screaming at his fans.
Well, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is beating a terrible team, and he's acting like he just won the Super Bowl, and he has all these doubters and haters and all this stuff. And it's like, no, buddy, like you haven't been very good since the Super Bowl.
Is it possible that he and the fans are all perfect for each other in this city?
That's it. As she says that, he kind of is the Philadelphia version of a coach.
He is the fan that would sit in the stands and yell at the coach to be fired after 3 consecutive playoff appearances and then beating the Browns.
Yeah.
He is that guy.
I'm coming around on this.
So he knows that guy, and he decided to yell at that guy because he's yelling at himself.
Yeah, he's got a great
Right.
Philly name, Nick Sirianni. He does have the name. But there's a way to respond to fans in maybe a humorous way. Look at the fans who are booing you after a win, and you say, I really apologize for winning today. There's a way to handle it without coming off.
That would have gone over better.
As being sent. You know what? You have to do that. That's how I would handle it. I would look right at a fan who's booing me and say, I apologize for winning.
We should do that on the Greg Cody Show. We'll have like somebody who tweeted mean things and bring them on.
Right.
Fine.
It is a good point, though. I mean, you make your point by saying, I'm winning.
Yeah.
Point to the scoreboard.
Right.
Offense doesn't look the same though this year.
No, Hurts has not been great. He's not been great. And Saquon Barkley started off pretty good, but now he's dipped down a little bit. Yeah, the offense really has let me down. I thought it would be really good.
It's going to be interesting because you have some coaches here, like Mike McCarthy might get fired.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not certain he shouldn't get fired.
Right.
You have Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, who's in London right now. They have to stay there for a week.
Yeah.
And that's a team, I got to tell you, they played like they had to stay in London for an extra week. London's depressing.
What? No, it's not.
Oh, I
always
think it
raining.
is. Yeah, it's always
No, it's
raining.
not.
Thank you,
I
Roy.
love London.
Put it on the
London's
poll.
great.
Is London depressing? It is. No, it is.
No.
And when you have to stay there an extra week, that's the way you come out and play.
Yeah.
Lethargic.
What did London do to deserve 2 weeks in a row of the Jaguars? I mean, poor London. Give them a real game. Give them a real team. You see, that's a problem with playing games in London.
Yeah.
They don't know American football that well, so
Right.
they're thrilled to get anybody.
Oh, okay, now come on.
Hold on, let
Let him
hear
go.
this out.
Yeah,
Let's
hear
see
him
where
out.
this is going.
All
All right, let
Yeah.
him cook.
I mean,
Let him
look,
burn the food.
Did you say I agree with that? You said it.
No,
They
I think he was saying he did do that. He agreed with himself.
Right.
I think what he was saying is they'll take any football in any
Yes.
form, right?
Thank you.
Even bad football.
I mean, they're
that desperate. That's
Yeah.
what you said, right?
Yeah, they
right.
do their research. I saw some Londoners, wearing the Trevor Lawrence, surfer, California surfer wig and all that. So they do their research, but they don't know. They don't know that Jacksonville's an underperforming team, that Trevor Lawrence was grossly overpaid and hasn't lived up to it, that they're not very, they don't know all that.
It's so disrespectful. It's like as if when a Premier League comes from overseas to over here, we're like, we don't know who these teams are. Like, we know Man United, they're the good team. Like, people that follow sports over there know who the good teams are.
Okay, name 3 Man U players.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to take a quiz.
Okay. That's what I'm saying, though.
He got you, Greg.
know-
One of my buddies who's been on our F1 podcast a lot. His name's Spanners. He hosts a F1 show in the UK. He went to his first NFL game last weekend, to the Vikings game, and he messaged me beforehand and was like, "I'm going to my first NFL game. How does football work? How do they play football?" And I was like, "Oh God,
Right.
I don't know how to start. Like, there's a pointy ball. Just go. You'll have fun. You'll have fun. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, have a couple of beers. Don't worry about it.
Do you think they're excited for Jacksonville Patriots?
Oh, my God. See, that's the other thing. In London, they still think the Patriots are good.
Yeah,
No, they don't.
No,
Yeah.
they do. They
Where's
think Tom
Belichick?
Brady's
They still think Brady's playing.
Yeah,
Right,
where's
yes,
Brady?
Yeah.
No,
Where's
they
Belichick?
haven't thought the Patriots are good since like the 1700s. I think that they know the Patriots are going to lose.
That is true.
Where's Tom Brady? Where's Belichick? Blimey. No,
Blimey.
they don't really say blimey. I'm getting carried away with my
Australian?
stereotype.
You made that
right
up?
now.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
Well, there was the line. We
I mean,
found
they,
it.
they used to say blimey, but they don't anymore.
I think they still do.
Like, bloody hell.
Jean Sebastian Jaguar, explorer,
What are Gesundheit? What do you mean? What are you saying?
explorer name.
Okay,
I got it, Roy.
Thank you. Keep up there, Greg.
I know.
Did he
sorry.
say good
He said Gazuta.
I'm out of breath. I've been talking a lot.
Not
Right.
you.
You have talked more today than you talk on, a normal day that you're
I
in
know.
here.
I really have. I'm spending all my my words.
Right.
My grandmother Nellie used to say.
Here we go.
When I was
I love
talking
it.
too
Just
much.
let him go. It's a lazy river, guys. I mean,
When I
Yeah,
was
have fun,
talking too
yeah.
much as a kid,
takes you to Nelly, it takes you to Nelly.
she would say, "In your life, you only get so many words."
Really?
So you're using, and that was her way of saying, "Shut up already." So that
Right.
I've never forgotten that.
Right.
There's
Where
an
do you
Eddie
think-
Murphy movie.
Where do you think you're by in terms of your words? Also, does the written word count? Because you chose a profession in which
Yeah.
you may be.
Cheat code.
Yeah, I would be silenced by now if the written word counted.
Okay, good.
But how many words do we say in an average day? I'd like to figure that
I'm
out.
gonna look that up.
Times 70 years.
If I'm on the schedule here, probably 1 million. If I'm not, like 2.
What do you imagine it is? I'm looking it up right
Okay, I would say 5,000 words a day.
now. That seems like a lot.
The average person speaks approximately 16,000 words a day.
Wow.
16,000?
But that's
Yeah,
not
but
including podcasters.
I would also assume though that like it's not 16,000 different words, right? Like the same words count.
No, like when I'm home
Right.
and not at work, the only words I'm saying are like, do you want to go on a walk? Do you need to go nice doggy?
Okay.
Is nice doggy like pee-pee?
Yeah.
Talking to lead that way?
Actually, yes. Actually, yes.
Do you want to go on a walk?
Lee and I do have a disagreement about what we call like the dog going to the bath. Do you have like a name for taking Jumpin' Charlie out for number 1 or number
Yes,
2?
yeah.
What do you say?
Well, it's sort of embarrassing, but I'm big into alliteration. So when I'm taking him out, I say, go pee-pee, go potty, go poop.
What?
Yeah. I say to Charlie,
have to
go
say it
pee-pee,
like
go
that?
potty, go poop.
Right.
Because I'm into alliteration. He hears that, and he knows I got to go in the backyard and squat.
Right.
Yeah, potty in the middle.
Yeah. Go pee-pee, go potty, go poop.
Why are you embarrassed of that?
Because it's juvenile. Why am I talking to my dog like it's a 2-year-old?
That's how you talk to dogs,
That's
though.
just what you do. Yeah.
Right.
So Lee and I have a disagreement about what we say. I say nice doggy, and he says do your stuff, and I hate do your stuff.
Do your stuff is too
I don't
harsh.
like do
right.
your
Yeah,
stuff.
it's not dog-like.
No.
No.
I like nice doggy.
Yeah.
I say, Finny, go poopy, good boy.
Nah, I like
Finny,
that.
go poopy, good boy.
What if he doesn't go?
Not a good boy. Still get your treat, though.
Does he?
I can't say no.
They actually break it down even more. People speak around 941 words per hour.
Really?
Wow, what an exact estimate.
That seems like more words than I'm saying.
I would say you probably go over, Chris.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ethan, track my next hour. Thank you.
Ethan says 16,000 words an hour.
So wait, you want Ethan to count your every word for an hour?
Yep.
All right.
Wow.
Ethan, count mine as well.
And mine.
Yep. Count everyone's.
Yeah.
you don't have to
Counting
do mine.
it.
What if it's a slurred word, though?
Okay.
Whoa.
Like when I go, that kind of thing.
Whoa,
You know, how many
whoa,
words does that
That's
count for?
okay.
Hold on.
That's
Whoa.
not a slur.
No, but it's different usages of word slur.
Yeah. Is that kind
Not
of
like a
one
racial slur,
elongated
for
word?
clear.
Or
That
like-
kind of thing, the way you say it is
Yeah,
one
that-
word.
yeah, that kind of thing.
I feel like it's one word.
I think so, too.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you do if you're Jerry Jones this morning?
You act like you're not thinking of firing anybody, and you publicly give McCarthy one more, flaccid vote of confidence when in the background you're going, this ain't working, this guy's not working. We just lost by 1,000 points to an up-and-coming Detroit team. We got to make a change. I mean, I seriously, I think McCarthy's he better go on a 5-game winning streak, and right the ship because I think he's in real
But
trouble
that is
right
just
now.
like I kind of get annoyed with Dolphin fans that are like doing this with McDaniel right now. They're so injured on defense.
Yes. Oh,
like,
yeah.
How are they
The
supposed
Cowboys
to win?
are.
Yes.
Right, yes.
Like, so it's just like Mike McCarthy, when his team was healthy last season, good enough coach. But when his entire defense is injured, he's not going to win as much. Yeah, when Mike McDaniel loses his quarterback, it's not going to look the same. Like, I get you got to make the adjustments. You got to play with what you have. But just to be like Mike McCarthy, not as good a coach as he was a few weeks ago, when they couldn't be more injured on defense.
Right. But if you're looking at next coach fired odds, which come out every week, how macabre, you see McCarthy up there. You don't see McDaniel. Everybody realizes that when you're missing Tua, you're not the same team, let alone the defensive injuries. But talk about a Pyrrhic victory, Detroit winning the way they won, and losing Aiden Hutchinson. It was such a gruesome leg. He's their best defensive player by far, right? He's like a T.J. Watt. He's their best player probably on the team, let alone defense. And what a gruesome leg injury. He's out the whole season and probably into next year. It's just terrible.
The next 5 games for the Cowboys are the 49ers, Falcons, Eagles, Texans, Commanders. It's probably more likely that
That's a loss.
it's
That's a
probably
loss.
more likely he's
5
not
losses.
the coach after 5 games
Yeah.
than he's won 5 straight.
That's a tough run.
Yeah.
Did you guys see it was Jerry Jones' birthday yesterday too?
Yeah.
And also, did you guys see
82.
that? You know how like
Doesn't look a day over 104.
I was actually surprised how young he was. I thought he was way older than 82.
He's an old 82.
He's a very old 82.
High mileage.
The AT&T Stadium sun coming straight into the window, like in Dak Prescott's eyes on that one drive. I found out yesterday they apparently have curtains that cover that window. What? And they don't use them during NFL games. Did you guys know this?
No.
Apparently
No.
they have curtains.
The Dolphins do this better than anyone, affecting like it's like a petri dish. Their stadium is designed like it's just like the sun is only on the opposing
Yeah,
sideline.
it's
The,
great.
Right.
the
Perfect.
Cowboys seem to be affecting their players as well. It's like if
Really?
you're gonna do this, if you're gonna be blinding people, it needs to be the opposing team here. We need to close those shades when Dak's on the field, and then the shades open up when the other team's on the field. Something.
Here's another reason Jerry Jones is in a bad mood this season. He's seeing Washington rising like a phoenix. He's seeing Jaden Daniels, potentially a star quarterback, and Washington's pretty good now. And all of a sudden, a team he could count on beating twice a year is probably better than he is right now, let alone Philadelphia. Washington coming on like they are. Jerry Jones right now is beside himself. He's got to do something.
Well, what should he do? Because his only option is to fire Mike McCarthy. He's stuck with Dak Prescott. He's stuck with the guys that he has. He signed most of them to big deals. It's why he said he couldn't afford Derrick Henry
Right.
During the offseason. He had to pay his guys.
Yep.
Mike McCarthy has not won a playoff game as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. Lost to the Packers at home last year.
Right.
The only thing he can do is get rid of McCarthy and hire one of these big-name coaches that is out there.
Yeah,
you know?
the problem is their running game has been awful, but when you have Dak Prescott, this has got to be the way Jerry Jones is thinking. I have Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, possibly the best receiver in football. How can I not score 10 points in a game? You know, I mean, the defense is one thing, the decimated defense giving up that many points. But offensively, how can I score 9 points with the offense I've got?
Right. It's perplexing.
Yeah.
And so it seems like they need a jolt, and they kind of bailed on Mike McCarthy. That's what it seems like. I just don't get it. If you have Mike Vrabel is out there, and Bill Belichick is out there, these aren't like two normal coaches.
Right.
These are two great coaches, and one of them is the greatest coach in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
These teams, it should be a race to get to Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
You should fire your coach yesterday to get to
Yeah.
Belichick.
Right.
I mean, that's what I would be doing.
And Dallas, if you're Bill Belichick, I think Dallas is pretty attractive.
That would be the team I'd want to go to if I'm
Yeah.
Belichick. That would be the team. I mean, you have Dak, you have talent there.
Yeah, you have talent.
And he'll take care of the defense.
Yeah, the defense, though, I mean, and the injured guys won't be injured forever. I mean, they will be good again on defense.
Right.
But you're right. Belichick makes sense.
He does.
So I kind of stepped in it a few minutes ago. I was being all condescending, being like, "Yeah, we know over here that Man U's good. Apparently, Man U's not good this year."
Yeah.
So As I was like heckling them, saying that they know about our sports, we know about theirs. I was wrong.
Nah,
I meant Man City.
Yeah, you meant Man City.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Man City. It's
We know
early in
Man
the season.
City's good.
Yeah.
Early in the season.
Man, you 14th on the table. Not great.
It's early, though. Early days.
They
as
named
we
a
say in
team
London.
after the Le Batard Show.
Hey. That's all she did there.
1 o'clock hockey, Roy.
Yeah.
Columbus Day staple. I mean,
I don't get why the Blue Jackets aren't playing today. Like, this
It's
should
weird.
be their day.
Yeah, it should be.
they
Columbus.
should own the day, right?
Yeah, big hockey fan, Columbus.
Not a great start to the Ice Cat season.
Right.
1-1 start.
Injuries,
two.
dude.
One
We
and
lost
two.
Barkov for a few weeks already. Kachuk was sick last game. You know, got to strap it on early on in the year here.
How long is Barkey out?
2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
Now's the time to get injured, though.
It is.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
mean,
timing.
Well,
Roy,
Roy,
you'd
you would
argue?
agree if you're going to get injured early, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be injured, but yeah, sure.
Okay, would you rather be
Following your
injured
logic?
now or, like, you know?
It's
at
like the
end of
Sixers
year?
are holding out Embiid for the entire preseason. You don't want to get hurt now.
No, so long as I get back, in a reasonable time, like 2 to 3 weeks is reasonable. So sure.
Well, I guess
yes.
to Billy's point, that would be the best time to get injured is the preseason.
Yes,
Right.
that's the best time to get injured. The preseason. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
You have the entire season to get healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm seeing a lot of?
What's that, Chris?
Shifting gears here as we just take a little jog around the local sports teams.
Lazy River.
With the preseason, you guys got me thinking about the Heat. I'm seeing a lot of social media videos of Bam shooting threes. I don't know if it's the media. I don't know if it's the Heat. They're trying to get the notion out there. He's ready
to stretch.
He's ready. He's ready to stretch
He's
the
ready.
floor. Is what he's ready to do.
that
Right.
will happen.
Go on.
I mean, Izzy mentioned that when he was on our podcast last week. Izzy mentioned that he thinks we're going to see a new and improved Bam, because when you come off the Olympic experience, when you win gold, it does something for you.
Makes you a better three-point shooter.
Well, in this case, they need him to be that, and he will be that. And I still think they're a mid-table team, though. That you mentioned Man U. The Heat are a mid-table team right now. I think they're 13th or 14th in betting odds for the NBA title. They're nowhere. They're just an also-ran team right now that has to prove they're not. And so, Jimmy is going to play the usual, 52 games during the regular season.
He's saying he's going to play more.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Like he said in his press conference, I heard Pat, and I will
Okay.
be available as much as I can.
But your dad is saying he'll believe it when he sees it.
I tend to agree with my dad.
I don't like the videos putting them out. Now there's an expectation for Bam to hit threes and be good at hitting threes, and he might not be that good at it.
It's not just the team, though. Like Tobin, I saw Brendan Tobin putting out. He's shooting. It's like everyone's watching. Everyone's keeping an eye out for
Yeah.
Bam on the three-pointers.
They need something, and that could be it.
Chris, what is your issue with Death Valley? We had a weird text
don't do this.
conversation.
Which one?
No, don't even start with this.
No, we had the oddest conversation. It was me, Taylor, and Chris usually does not text me on the weekends, but he was watching College Game Day because I was also watching College Game Day, and someone brought up Death Valley.
Which
and how,
one?
And how tricky it is, LSU.
Thank you.
Okay.
And how tricky it is to play there at night, and Chris took exception to it.
See, that's the context is that I need here. I'm not going after the actual stats of how dominant they are at night. I learned from Taylor. I mean, God, he was annoying. As soon as I texted him that, I got every stat ever invented about LSU at night. But all I said is that these broadcasters, it's kind of like with Belichick. Stugotz, let's play the game.
Okay.
The Belichick crutch for analysts. What would analysts always say when talking about a Belichick team?
Well prepared.
Well prepared.
Yes.
It's but more specific. They're going to take something away. What's Belichick going to take away? You can't.
Your best thing. Your
They
strength.
would never.
Yes.
You could not hear a game broken down about the Patriots without somebody saying that. And I feel like that's the way we are with LSU night games. It's just I heard it like 15 different people. If you're talking about the LSU game, LSU at night,
Yeah.
LSU at night, and all I said to Stugotz was, if Ole Miss wins this game, enough with LSU at night.
Right.
Right.
And they didn't win. And like on a neutral field, Ole Miss would have been probably
Ole Miss
favored.
lost to Death Valley. They didn't lose to LSU.
Yeah.
They lost to that stadium. That's what they didn't have to lead the entire night to the final play.
I was more just crushing the crutch that analysts have of just constantly saying, "Oh, LSU at night, LSU at night." Now, granted, as Taylor pointed out to me, they win about 90% of their games at night.
They've
So,
won 14 straight there at night, and you wrote back enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enough.
I agree with you. I think fans
Thank you.
and media in general attribute too much to the venue, to the fans, to the stadium.
Well, like Dad, 90% they've won.
But exactly right. When they give you
That's
all the
fine.
statistics proving that it's actual reality, then you can't call it just a verbal crutch.
I'm confused. Are we going after the announcers or are we still going after LSU? Which one are we mad at? Because Chris, to your point, yes, there are certain annoying things I noticed that get repeated a lot.
That's all I was saying.
Like last week, everyone, including our show, like we were talking about the Big Ten record crossing multiple time zones, and then it just kept getting like repeated and repeated and repeated, and to the point where like it kind of loses its meaning. Because that has been like a thing that people keep saying over and over again. But if you want to actually go after LSU and Tiger Stadium, that's a different. Now we're having a different conversation.
And if you read my text, I was always just like the analyst. Like I just don't like it's a crutch. And if they lost, I wanted to be able to go at them.
Right.
But I don't know, man.
But Taylor pointed out since the turn of the century, they are 108-15 in night games at Death Valley.
My pivot on that was, why can't more teams have that kind of environment? Like if you
can't just like invent it overnight. Like this was also LSU's 100-year at Tiger Stadium like anniversary game. This like there were a ton of alumni back at the stadium this week.
Is it how hammered they get though? Like what's the difference? Because there's a lot of SEC enthusiasm. Every SEC, like most SEC schools, you get an intensity. Like Ole Miss has a crazy fan base. Like there's a bunch of good fan bases. Mississippi State.
Right, you're right. There's a bunch of good fan bases, and there's also some that are just like
it's the alcohol.
that crazy and exciting that it sets them apart a little bit. And I think that everyone that's been to a night game at LSU would tell you like it's a pretty crazy environment to play at. And LSU also like credit to their crowd because it looked like when Ole Miss had a chance at the end of the game in regulation and also in overtime to actually win that game, they were completely unorganized on offense. And I think you could probably say that the stadium atmosphere had something to do with that.
I think that you could use a stat like that from any good program. Like I'm sure Alabama's record in home night games is fantastic. And Notre Dame's probably is too. I don't know. But I was watching the Ohio State-Oregon game. Great game. Like 8 lead changes. And after Oregon wins, the announcers are like, nobody gives Oregon's crowd credit, but what a stadium to play in. What a dynamic atmosphere just because they won.
Right.
It wasn't the stadium that won that game. It wasn't the fans. Ugly uniforms, by the way. It was the team. They're pretty good.
Sometimes the fans can help, though. That environment can help.
Yeah, but,
I'll give you an example, Greg. The end of the Notre Dame-Louisville game I was at last weekend, Louisville got a delay of game penalty coming out of a timeout in the last drive of the game. And afterwards, Jeff Brom said they couldn't hear the play call because the stadium was too loud. So, yes, there are times where the stadium does directly impact the ability of the quarterback and the sideline to communicate with one another. I agree with you, though. You can't say, like, the actual playing of the game is the more important thing, right? Like, Oregon won because they played just a slightly bit better game than Ohio State, and they scored more points. But, I think you do have to take into account home atmosphere. I know, like, the people creating the spread, they do. They count it for, 3 points, 2 or 3 points, depending on where it is. So it does play a factor.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. And to contrast that, when Miami is playing a home game against anybody but Florida State, it's probably going to be, they're going to announce 55,000 and it's probably going to be 40,000. And nobody's going to say Miami's got a great atmosphere, although it's better than it used to be. But
I would say it's one of the worst atmospheres anywhere in college football, though.
Yeah,
Miami?
because
You have a
most of them are
stadium
good.
45 minutes away from campus. No, not good. It's not, Roy, that's not a great atmosphere. The U?
See, I'm tired of that as an excuse, though.
I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just stating it as fact.
Yeah, but
that atmosphere is not great.
The students drive cars.
Right.
Like they can. It has to be on campus for them to go to a game.
You don't want to drive a car if you're going to tailgate and drink all day.
Well, you take Uber then.
It costs like $100 to Uber from Coral Gables.
You are talking
One
as
way.
a guy
They're going
who's-
to a private university in Coral Gables. They have the money. Mom and Dad have the money.
Have you ever attended Hard Rock Stadium as a fan? Like you're
Yes.
speaking like someone who hasn't.
No, I have. What's your point? Like, what do you mean?
I think Hard Rock is a stadium that can be great. Like, I think the atmosphere at times has
it's a beautiful
has
stadium.
been really,
Yes.
really great. But, like,
Right.
week in and week out, maybe it's not
Yes.
comparable
It's
to
vibes though. Like
the vibes
Lu-
on
if you-
LSU's campus.
If you see Lucy out at these things, like they're panning around to that Oregon Stadium, and like the look on her face, like it's just,
She said Oregon was the greatest experience of her life.
yeah, it's just different.
college football experience of her life.
You know, a pet peeve of mine, though, is when fans complain about how far the stadium is from them. It's a NIMBY thing, not in my backyard. You don't want the stadium to be too close to your house, but you don't want it to be too far for your house. Marlins don't draw flies. They draw 12,000 people a game. It's not the location of the stadium. It's that they're not winning and they're not spending. So I don't want to hear an excuse from football fans. Oh, it's off campus. I don't want to drive 10 miles, 10 whole miles to see my 6-0 number 6 ranked team play. Baloney.
But Greg, it's 10 miles in Miami. That's a 2-hour drive.
Well,
how long was your commute into work today?
That was well said.
It was like an hour and 45 minutes. That's ridiculous.
It was bad, right?
Yeah. I mean, I told Le Batard years ago he should build me a separate ramp
right,
that would allow me alone.
How's that going?
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. I thought the whole Meadowlark money thing would get that done, but it's been a disappointment.
So it's the greatest Monday in my sports life. Because I have the Mets and I have the Jets and I guess 1 o'clock hockey and you could throw in the Yankees. It is also Hank Azaria's greatest sports day in his life. He is a Mets and a Jets fan, and he's going to join us next. All right, a very exciting sports day is upon us. Well, upon me and Hank Azaria, who will join us in a second. But I have piqued Greg Cody's curiosity because I informed him that our friend Hank has started a Bruce Springsteen cover band, and you are glued to your computer looking things up.
Super exciting. I'm a big Bruce fan. I love the idea of a cover band. I love the name of the cover band, Hank Azaria and the Easy Street Band. Perfect. Perfect. I'm sure they slay live, in person,
Right.
public performance, and I can't wait to hear them.
Chris, I was just as surprised as you were that your dad used the word slay.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing there. Next is mid.
Right. Hank joins us now. Hank, whose idea was it for the Bruce Springsteen cover band?
Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
Yo.
Yo, Stugotz.
How are you, Hank?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We were discussing the Bruce Springsteen cover band that you have put together, and I'm wondering whose idea, like, how did that come to fruition here, Frank? Frank?
Frank. That's great.
I'm going to call you Frank for the rest of the time.
He
Go
looks
ahead.
like a Frank.
He does look like a Frank. Yeah.
Well, Shroomgotts. I would turn 60.
Yeah.
I had mixed feelings about it. I love imitating Bruce. I've been imitating the way Bruce talks since I was 15. I thought, let me sing some songs as Bruce, surprise my party guests, cheer myself up. And it went so well that we became a cover band, and we raised money for charity doing it. We're known as Frank Azaria and the Easy Street Band.
I knew that would come back to haunt me.
Oh, yeah, you're never living that down. Now, sadly, by the way, I have 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. I was supposed to be on a while ago, so I basically have enough time to say, let's go Jets, let's go Mets. And we'll be at Brooklyn Bowl in New York if your guys are in New York. November 8th, come see us.
Excellent. Hank, this has the chance to be the best day of our lives, also has the chance to be the worst day of our lives. How do you feel right now? How do you think it's going to go for you?
I feel like yin and yang. Like in general, I feel optimistic about the Mets because I like their ownership and their GM. So this is all house money. So like, even if the Dodgers sweep the Mets, I still feel kind of good in general, right? And the Jets, I feel like, they can. I'm kind of optimistic about this year. I think Rodgers always starts slow. They'll play better. They may make the playoffs, but I don't feel good about them as an organization because I'd be loony to feel that way about them.
What did you think of the Jets canning their coach?
I feel like it can't hurt. I mean, on the penalties alone, like I wanted him gone for 2 years. Like, what is with that? And now that the rest of the team is a little more buttoned up, it just jumps out. It's like, in what year of your coaching tenure are you going to address stupid penalties? And maybe, this is the kind of shakeup that, I mean, Rodgers and whoever is the coach of the team, that's just what we're doing. Their defense seems good under Albrecht, so let's just see what happens.
I know you have to run. If you could only choose one team to win today, Jets or Mets, you're choosing who?
Mets, because like I say,
oh really?
I mean, they're in a championship run. I mean, I want to see them. How often do you get this chance? The Jets are just like this lost cause that for some reason I'm attached to.
Right. I'll tell you, the only reason I asked that is because I've seen the Mets win a World Series. I can't recall the last time I saw the Jets in first place.
Yeah, but if this were the NFC Championship game, I'd probably be pulling for the Jets.
Right.
But it ain't, Stugotz.
Right. Yeah, they'd be in the AFC Championship game, Frank. I mean,
and pardon me. Yeah, AFC Championship.
All right, promote where you're going to be again one more time. We appreciate you joining us.
Brooklyn Bowl, November 8th. Easy Street Band featuring Frank Azaria on vocals.
All right, I miss you, buddy. I'm going to go check out a concert.
Take care, man. Please do. Good to talk to you ever briefly. I'll come back and whine more at another time.
Let's see how tonight goes, and then perhaps we'll have you back tomorrow. Thank you, Hank.
Yeah, go Jets, go Mets. I want 2 victories tonight. That's what I want.
All right, selfish. Okay.
And unrealistic.
See you, buddy. You love the idea of starting a cover band. No, you guys are all going to call
man.
BS on me with the Mets and the Jets. Why?
No,
if
you attended the
DraftKings-
concert is what I'm calling BS.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm with Roy.
okay.
If we were going to do DraftKings odds on you attending a Hank Azaria concert,
I would go just for Hank.
not
At the Brooklyn Bowl.
you never going is like minus 800.
I don't understand why you keep saying this could be one of the best days of your life. Like it's
Billy, I'm a
it's
fan
week-
of the Mets and the Jets.
Yeah, but it's like week
have
6
kids.
of the NFL. This
Sports
is not
life.
a super meaningful game for the Jets.
It's a game for first place. Like we
Of
don't.
week 6
I know-
of the season.
I know, but it's beating Buffalo. It's beating Josh Allen. It's Monday night. It's Aaron Rodgers. If they're going to do that, he's likely going to have a big game.
But it's week 6. You're
I know.
not winning the division today.
Of
You're
the-
not clinching.
Of the teams that I root for, the one I want to see win the most, because I haven't seen them win yet, is the Jets.
Yeah, but you're doing like
it's a regular season game.
I
It's
know,
week 6.
but it's a game for first place.
and it's game 2 of the NLCS.
Right.
They're down 0-1 though, so I mean,
the
it's
fact
far
that you
bigger.
asked that
Come home for
question.
3. I mean,
It's so clearly a Mets victory that you need more than a Jets victory today. Even if you want the Jets to win more in the playoffs, like
Right.
this is such a big game for the Mets. My Mets.
Fans going to fan over here.
right.
Fans going to fan.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL means more to me at this point, and the Jets mean more to me at this point than the Mets.
Right. And if you follow 2 teams, one has more of your heart than the other, right? Like emotionally.
Yes.
You're more of a Jets fan.
Yes.
There you go.
It's really a product of, I've seen the Islanders win Stanley Cups. They won 4 straight in the 80s. I've seen the Knicks have some success, although I haven't seen them win a championship. But the Riley years were fantastic. I've had nothing with the Jets. I had 2 years with Mark Sanchez. That's it. Well, I had that one other year with Vinny Testaverde of 14-0.
Yeah.
Or it's a 10-0 at halftime of the AFC Championship game, and they blew it in the second half, didn't go to the Super Bowl. I've had precious few moments with this football team. We got Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago. I've been waiting for this game. A game at home, national platform, Monday Night Football against Josh Allen with a new coach. I have been waiting for this moment since Aaron Rodgers has arrived in New York. And so I'm excited for it. How did that come to fruition here, Frank? Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was the fruition. It was already, the F was already there. And
he looks like a Frank. I mean, I'm
He
serious.
looks like a Frank.
Yeah.
put it on the poll. Does Hank look like a Frank?
If you're going to call him
Looks like a
anything but
Henry.
Hank, he's a Frank. Frank Azaria. He's probably got a brother named Frank.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because they rhyme?
Franks and Hanks go together.
Really?
Yeah.
His name is Henry.
Yeah, Hank.
You think there's a Hank Sinatra out there somewhere?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
Really?
Frank's lesser known brother.
A Frank Aaron?
Yeah.
What is it about celebrities? Whenever you like have their sibling's name rhyme with their name, it's funny. You know, it's like, is that Bo Theismann? There's just something about a name.
Oh, spit
It's
take.
just there's just something about a name
I like
rhyming.
this bit. Keep going.
Yeah. It's like I'm not gonna play it anymore.
Ben and Ken.
No, please keep playing it. You're out of material?
You know, Mo Biden. My brother Mo. You met my brother Mo. He's great. He could be president. Younger than me.
Sitting around the kitchen table and scrambling.
There it is.
Hank has 2 rescue cats, one named Mookie and the other named Wilson.
That's how you do it.
On my dad's podcast this week, Greg Cody Show, featuring Greg Cody.
With?
We do
Fine.
Greg Doesn't Know Movies, which is a popular bit. We bring my brother in. We ask him obvious movie questions. And so I'll give you guys a little spoiler alert. Here's one we did.
Okay.
We said, Dad, name one actor that has played the Joker in a movie. So, there's a lot of answers here. Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Nicholas.
You had the Golden Bear?
Heath Ledger. And my dad's answer was John Ledger,
I was thinking of John Legend.
which is a hilarious visual of
Easy
John
mistake.
John
Yeah.
Legend playing the Joker would have been hilarious.
I mean, I was thinking of that one Joker from the TV series back in the 60s.
Caesar Romero?
Caesar Romero.
The
but
original.
I couldn't come up with a name.
Is that the dog guy? That's Caesar Milan.
Yeah.
That's another explorer's name, Caesar Romero. No, I just couldn't come up with a
Cesar
name.
Millan,
This
too.
is the second time you tried to make fun of your dad today. It completely backfired.
See? Let that be a lesson to you.
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus.
There is a lesson to be learned there. Yeah.
That one I did on purpose.
Leave
though.
your
That
damn
was-
dad alone.
That was just for comedy.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Hank Thomas,
Hank Thomas.
the big hurt.
Exactly.
I like it.
You and my cousin Hank.
Yeah. That
Willie
was Tommy Aaron's
Oosthuizen
problem.
played the Batman once.
What?
No.
Really? Oh. Hank Caliendo.
Hey, Hank Stallone. I'll play this game all day. with
Franco
you, Roy.
Harris.
Hanko Harris. Frank Goldberg, the Hammer.
See, Hanks and Franks go together.
They do.
Not one of these has been real.
I'm not lying.
Right, Billy is.
Hank and Beans.
It's well, yes. It's a fair point by Billy. We have no idea if any of these are real.
All right, if you're a Frank out there and you got a brother named Hank, call 1-800
Yeah.
Hanks and Franks.
786-456-4837.
Ah, the old days.
Ninth caller wins nothing at all.
It's going to be interesting. The college football playoff. I'm starting to come around on 12 teams.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm starting to come around on the merging of conferences because we are getting more great games than we've ever had, and we're getting more meaningful games than we've ever had. And I'm telling you, like the new matchup of undefeateds is the matchup of one-loss teams.
Yeah.
You can lose once. I don't think you can lose twice and make it to the college football playoff. And you have one of those this weekend with Tennessee and Alabama.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I don't think, Jess, do you think a 3-loss team could get in?
Well, between Tennessee and Alabama, I think so because Tennessee plays Alabama and Georgia. And, of course, if you do end up playing in your conference championship game and win, and you're a highly ranked conference champion, you will automatically get in. So I do think there will be a number of 2-loss teams in the playoff because the nature of conference championship weekend means that a lot of the 1-loss teams will probably play against each other.
I agree. And if you're an elite program, Georgia, Texas, Alabama type level, 2 losses, you'll get the benefit of doubt over the small program that's had one of those 11-1 seasons.
It's cool because of how many teams think they have a chance right now. That's really what they're
That is
doing
the
with
cool
all
thing,
this.
That's
though,
what's
right?
great
Like, you
about
It's
have-
like the wild card in baseball.
Like you have
Yes.
Illinois at 5-1, ranked 22. You
They've-
know what their program right now?
Right.
They're thinking, let's win out,
They
and
have-
we they're not going to.
They
but
have a
it's
chance,
just,
right.
It's just cool because that's what you have. So many teams here that are like this point in the season thinking we can actually do this.
Yeah. Miami's a good example, not to be parochial, but in a normal year, even if Miami is 6-0, they're not one of the top 4 teams. You're not thinking that they're a playoff team. Now you certainly are, and they could lose to Louisville in their next game, and you're still thinking, all right, they're not out of it. They still have a chance to be top 12.
But the ACC team, like they could always win their conference to get in. So like.
Right.
Even if they lost to Louisville in the 4 team, they could still say we win the conference we're in. Like I don't really.
But you still have to win. You still have to be one of the top 2 teams in your conference to play in the conference championship. So it's like the conference matchups are still super important to win because you don't want like a SMU or someone to like slip past you and get a chance to play in that game. Because I do think with the ACC and possibly even the Big 12 this year, it will be interesting to see what happens to the conference championship losers if the committee is going to favorite like a 3-loss SEC team that doesn't play in their conference championship game versus the loser of the ACC or Big 12 championship and like how they compare and contrast ranked wins versus losses, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's really important for Miami to win the rest of the games on their schedule and at least make it to that game because then if you win, you're in. If you lose, you still are 11-1 or 12-1 at that point. You have a much better shot.
Yeah, particularly because Miami is going to play one of the weakest schedules. They're not going to have beaten a ranked team. They're not going to have played a ranked team, which is really weird.
But I saw some graphic that Mike tweeted out that the Canes are like 2nd in strength of schedule right now or something. I got to look this up. This
How
tweet
is that
Mike
possible?
put out. It was something. Let me get back to you.
Well, Florida's done better since that opening loss. Like Florida has.
They've played
improved-
better, yes.
Florida has improved their strength
Well, they
of
did
schedule.
totally blow it against Tennessee this past weekend.
Right.
That was a game that
Yeah.
they had.
But I think Christopher's point was the exact point. It's more teams having a chance this late in the season. We're halfway through.
Right.
But they have a chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Illinois usually out of it by this time. They have a chance. SMU has a chance. Even a team like Syracuse, who has one loss.
Right.
They have a chance. They play Miami final game of the season at Syracuse. Like if they run the table, one loss, beat Miami, they get a chance of getting in.
Yep. You probably got 20 teams, maybe 24 teams that still think they have a realistic chance.
Right.
It can't not be great for the sport.
I think the problem is what we're waiting to see, at least I'm waiting to see, is if you could have, a 12 seed upset, one of these big.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible.
That's
like
what-
you have it in college basketball. I don't know if we'll see that in college football.
Yeah. But I know it's only 12 teams, but it's going to have that March Madness feel to it.
Yes.
If there is a 12 beating a 1. Now, there's buys, so I don't know how that would work, but there's going to be an upset, I would think, and that's going to be the joy of it, to wait for that.
To see an Iowa State in the championship game?
I mean, anything can happen.
Right. I'm good with Iowa State not making it to a championship game ever.
I mean, they played good against West Virginia. There were a couple bad turnovers at the end for West Virginia, but still, they won.
It's what I say with the NCAA tournament. I want George Mason to advance to the Elite Eight. Get the hell out of my Final Four. I don't need you there. I want Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
I want Kentucky. I want Duke. I want Carolina. I want brands. You know?
I agree. That's why I've been saying all along, you got to have a Dodgers-Yankees World Series. I'm sorry, Guardians and Mets, but when the Yankees and Dodgers played in 1978, they averaged 44 million viewers, which is the most watched World Series to this day. Okay, and it's a fallacy that the Subway Series is going to draw. If it's Yankees-Mets, last time they played in 2000, it averaged like 17 million, which was low, especially low, even for that era. So if you're TV and if you're a typical fan, you want Dodgers-Yankees.
Major League Baseball is
Fine.
Sorry, how much?
Actually, Dan's not here. So
No, how much? It's okay.
$5.
I'll pay it. Major League Baseball, their worst nightmare is the Guardians getting in. They don't care who wins the NL.
Right.
I mean, they kind of care. They want the Dodgers probably because of Ohtani, but Mets or Dodgers will do.
Yeah.
If it's Guardians over the Yankees, that is
No.
the worst.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario
Yeah,
for
you
Major
don't
League
want that.
Baseball.
Yeah.
You actually think that Mets would be as good for baseball as the Dodgers?
No, I
There's
don't.
no chance.
No, I think the Dodgers are probably.
Definitely a better option in the National League. Than
You're
the
saying
Mets.
you're saying Major League Baseball would prefer the Dodgers?
Yes.
There's no discussion. We want Dodgers Yankees.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, but at the beginning of the season, Mets would have probably been right after the Dodgers, to your point.
Yes.
I think I'm with Billy. Dodgers are one, but it's not a bad second choice to have the Mets.
They take the Dodgers with the Guardians. I think Billy's right.
Yeah.
Meaning they just want Ohtani in the World Series.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't care if he's hitting 250. The perception is that Ohtani is finally in the postseason. Let's marvel at this greatest player of all time. All time, people are saying now. Not just today, but all time. And so let's...
By saying it into the mic.
I think baseball is being lifted. The ratings are great. Baseball is having an epiphany, a wonderful moment, largely because of Ohtani. You have to have him in the World Series.
I was thinking about you in a cover band.
I would love that.
I know you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would.
You're jealous of Hank,
Yeah,
aren't
I
you?
am. I'm
Aren't
really
you in
jealous.
a cover band? The Hee Haw 3 is a cover band?
Yeah, we like to do original material.
Do you?
Viva Greg
No,
Cody
really.
is not original material. It's a cover. You just put your name in it.
That's a very valid point by Billy. No, I am jealous of Hank Azaria.
There's so many Bruce Springsteen cover bands. I feel like I know 3 people just off the top of my head in a Bruce Springsteen cover band.
Really?
Yeah.
Come
Wow,
on.
I didn't know that.
Name
Yeah.
them.
I'm not going to name them.
Come on.
Now, when Frank Azaria talks about playing the Brooklyn Bowl, is he literally playing a bowling alley?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not
A
being
legendary
facetious.
one, though.
Yeah, because the
Right.
Hollywood Bowl is like a big arena. It's lovely.
Right.
So the Brooklyn Bowl is actually a bowling alley.
It is, yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I think it's actually a bowl.
Well, it is a bowl and a bowling alley.
Like soup.
Okay.
Meaning you go there's a bowling alley, and then there's a concert stage with a bowl of seating.
Oh, I see.
If that kind of makes sense.
Okay, so it's both.
Yes.
It's a concert venue / bowling alley.
Yeah.
Odd combination, that one. Okay.
It feels like something that Stugotz totally just made up,
I
but
did.
it is true.
I did.
Yeah.
It is true. I got lucky. I got to be honest.
There's
with you.
multiple
really?
locations also, by the way. Brooklyn Bowl. There's one in Las Vegas, one in Nashville, one in
Really?
Philadelphia. Yeah. 4
Brooklyn
locations.
Bowl in Las Vegas.
Can people just be rich and quiet?
What do
Like
you
if
mean?
you're
Put it on the
rich,
poll.
like you're just like, oh, now I'm going to start a band. It's like, why don't you just go be rich over there and like just enjoy your money?
A quiet hobby.
Wait, you're blasting Hank for doing this?
Yeah,
He's-
like,
he's
go,
made a
like-
ton of money off The Simpsons. He
Yeah,
doesn't-
exactly right. Like go, like whatever happened to the I don't know what happened to the industry, but like what happened to the industry? You used to like walk through like like a Target or a Walmart or like a KB Toys or whatever, and there was like model cars, and then you had like that really sticky like glue, and then you'd have to like break off the piece, and then oh my gosh, look, I just made like a Dodge Viper or whatever, and you yourself know, oh my goodness, this took me like 15 hours. There's 1,800 pieces in here. You lift up the little hood and you see how I put the engine together. You had to get the little model paint, the silver model paint to paint the engine so that it was silver. What happened to that? What happened to just like quiet hobbies? Why do we have to have all these public hobbies now? Here's the thing.
Oh, boy.
You can be a very talented actor. You can be great at doing voices, whatever. Doesn't mean that you need to start a band. That you don't need to be a rock star now all of a sudden as well. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Save the rock starring for the rock stars.
Right. I understand, but it's for charity. I mean,
That's what you say when you're
Yeah.
doing something obnoxious.
Exactly.
When a portion goes to charity,
Right.
Yeah, when you're doing something obnoxious, you say it's for charity.
That's
I agree
true.
with you.
That's a fact, Jack.
It is, but I think Billy has a point though.
or you use your kid as a shield. I mean,
Exactly.
right, yes.
Yeah, my saying to celebrities would be, "Hey, celebrity, stay in your lane, right? If you're Hank Azaria, you don't have to be a rock star. If you're a famous actor, I'm going to take up painting. I'm going to start selling my paintings. How about you leave that to the
That
painters
is quieter.
and you
though.
act?
That would be a quiet
Yeah, but
hobby.
private collection. Okay, Jim Carrey, we don't need to know about all your paintings and your galleries and all
Right.
that business.
Yeah.
Leave the
Oh,
painting
right.
to the painters. Is
Well,
what you're saying.
wait a minute. He's doing something that he's known for. He's
Who?
imitating Bruce Springsteen. He's actually using a different voice for this situation.
Right. I guess that is his
No.
wheelhouse. I know that's a good point
He's
by
a
Roy.
performer,
Right.
right?
Okay.
But
But
also,
Billy,
you have to be careful saying "stay in your lane" when you're at a bowling alley because you
Yeah.
might think you mean
Gutter
like
balls?
lane 3.
Well, that's the most important rule of bowling is stay in your lane.
it is.
That's a very valid point.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. No gutter balls allowed.
Speaking of painting, I was making fun of my friend's wife this weekend. 'Cause she's doing.
How are we going to connect these?
Transition.
She was
Can't
painting.
wait to see.
She was painting.
Okay.
Stay in the lane.
And you guys ever heard of this like painting with numbers thing?
Yes.
Paint
Not-
by
course.
numbers.
Not a fan.
It's
Why?
called cheating.
Thank you. It's like, hey kid, if you're doing the number thing 1, 2, 3, and you draw a dinosaur, guess what? You didn't actually draw a dinosaur.
Right.
All right.
It's a good learning tool.
Right.
But for kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not for adults.
Yeah.
I think it's okay for adults to pick up hobbies
Yeah.
after they are
Just
adults.
Unless you're rich.
I walked into the house.
Unless it makes noise.
I walked over to the painting
to Billy.
and I assessed, and I just wasn't as impressed as I would have been if there weren't numbers.
You know what? Draw a dinosaur. Go ahead and do it.
I won't. I can't draw. I'm not saying I can draw. I'm just saying I feel like if you're painting with
He's
numbers,
acknowledging he can't draw. He's saying he doesn't want the numbers. It's like steroids.
It's a shortcut.
Yeah.
When
It's
you're
a gap.
painting by
Right.
numbers.
The numbers
Yeah.
are steroids.
Greenies.
What
It's
if
a
you?
shortcut.
What if like back in
It's
the
an
day,
enhancer. I mean,
classical artists painted with a model? Is that cheating too? Like, why don't you just know what a nude woman looks like? You know what I mean?
Paint it from memory. Oh, you can't remember what boobies look like?
I think there's just different
Oh, you
scales
never
of
been
cheating,
laid,
right?
Da Vinci?
Yeah, exactly right.
Da Vinci.
I just think Michelle's taking the easy way out.
Wow, classic
Wow,
meat.
She is.
By
There's
using
no question
numbers.
Name
about
and
it.
everything.
yeah.
I look down on paint by numbers.
Do you?
I
do.
think it's okay as a learning tool, though, Greg.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. If my
If you're
six,
going to frame it, I mean,
if my
it's-
daughter was doing it, I'd be like, all right, this makes sense.
Right.
But when I walk in and see a 37-year-old, and I'm like, okay, this seems.
But it's like training wheels on a bike. Eventually, you got to take them off and just fly by yourself, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
no
you're just-
numbers.
You're
Yeah.
starting with the numbers. Okay, how about this? You go to IKEA and you get like some furniture. Is it cheating if you follow the directions on how to put it together?
No. That part checks
But you're
out
an
for me.
adult.
Yeah,
Like,
you're an
know how to
adult.
do
Come
some
on,
carpentry.
Michelle. Do you know
Come
how to
on.
put
Grown
this
ass
thing
adult,
together or
man.
what?
No, that's sort of cheating.
Yeah, see,
It's sort of cheating.
that's what I'm wondering too.
Another example would be in the kitchen. If you're following step by step,
Oh, recipes,
a recipe,
please.
are you really cooking?
Exactly right.
You're-
If you're following a recipe, you're not cooking. That's ridiculous.
Coming from the guy that prints out, still like the way MapQuests used to be printed
Yeah, I
out. You
loved
print out
MapQuest.
recipes.
I did. I would go on trips just to print MapQuest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care where I was going.
But you always print. You always print recipes. You're a recipe printer.
I am, as a backup.
as a backup,
wow.
As a backup.
as a guideline.
yes, as a guideline.
Exactly right.
By the way,
Support.
speaking of painting,
Yeah.
I love the Peyton Manning commercial.
It is
Where-
Manning.
Painting Manning.
Peyton
Yes.
Manning.
Yeah.
Because you
Painting,
can't.
yeah.
You can't say painting.
No, we got it, Dan.
And Peyton without them sounding just alike.
Like classic Hank Frank situation.
You think they
no
stumbled
doubt.
into that, or that's what they were going for?
It's a great commercial.
Hank Beamer.
Yeah.
Greg, when you used to print out maps, did you ever like I don't know your relationship with road trips very well, but
Right.
did you used to do like the whole AAA where you kind of call into AAA, you have them send you all the maps before a road trip or the book?
The triptych.
Ah,
they
the
called it.
triptych, exactly
We
right.
used to get that. We'd go on a trip. The wife and I would be driving up to New England, right
The
up
old
the
ball and
coast,
chain, as they
ball
call
on the
it.
jack for
Yep.
3,000 miles.
Little Cape Cod.
I can tell you how to go. 95 north.
Okay, but
No,
when you
no,
get a
no.
triptych,
Once you get off there,
Triptych
it gets
tells you
tricky.
where you
Yeah.
want to stop, where
Yeah.
you get off, where
my
you stay,
God.
where you eat. Oh,
it's like my favorite book of all time is Blue Highways by William Lee Seat Moon, and it talks about taking the off roads, and Triptych tells you that.
yep.
Okay, Triptych says, hey, you can get off 95, take this little road here, go for 5 miles. There's a peach festival.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Classic triptych.
You love that peach festival, don't you?
It's
a music festival.
You know what? I'll stop and smell the roses on a trip.
I like that.
Yeah.
Life's a highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the reason I prefer car travel, which people don't do anymore. You know, we'd
Can't
go-
take exits on an airplane. And if you do, you're in trouble.
Yeah, right.
You do not prefer car travel.
I do.
I think he does.
Yeah,
I
he
grew
does.
Like
up
if we're
on
going to
car
Texas right now, you'd rather drive?
travel. You know what?
He loves a road
No,
trip.
he's lying.
If there was no deadline, absolutely.
If I'm not in a hurry,
Exactly.
okay.
We're rushing way too much nowadays.
I agree.
Now,
Yep.
you know,
Time to smell the
the
roses, yeah,
combo
sure.
platter is
Life is
to-
a highway.
The combo
ride
platter
all
is
night
to
long.
fly to California and then rent a car
And drive it
and
back.
do the whole Pacific Coast
Maybe
Highway.
a short
I did that.
RV or something,
Yes.
a little RV.
Yeah.
Gag. Right.
I don't
All
think I'd
the
like
jack.
an RV, you know?
Why
Too
not?
big.
I don't know.
Yeah, too big.
I like a hotel room.
No, you're not. No.
What do you mean?
No.
What?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't have to be a fancy hotel.
Mr. MapQuest, you print out the...
Yeah, it can be a motor lodge. You know,
A
with a
motor-
shuffleboard.
okay.
court
I
out
love
front.
a
I
good
don't care.
motor lodge.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you?
Too.
With
Yeah.
a shuffleboard court out
Yeah.
there.
Needs to have one.
It
Correct.
does. It's a staple of a motor lodge.
Right, you have to.
There has to be a local dingy band on a stage that's almost collapsing in the back.
We're doing
Right,
retirement home with shuffleboard. I'm not
No,
associating
I'm-
shuffleboard
no.
with hotels.
I'm longing
Oh, yeah.
for the day
Motor
now
lodges.
that pickleball had its moment. I'm longing for the day that shuffleboard makes its comeback.
Me
You
too.
know, and we've talked about this. I don't know if people want to hear this again, but like they've tried to modernize a shuffleboard where like you know those like home basketball courts that they're basically just like those rubber squares that you kind of put down. It's like a cheating
Yeah.
basketball court. It's like, you know, those little kids blocks basically, right? They've started doing that with shuffleboard, which is the complete wrong consistency for a shuffleboard court because you don't want that friction. You need it to be a slab of concrete.
smooth,
Exactly
like
right.
this.
Right.
Some paint, maybe some little bugs that you painted over when you repainted it, and that's it. That's what you need for shuffleboard.
Yeah.
I don't associate shuffleboard with crappy hotels. I associate what's that game with the pole and the ball attached to the string from Napoleon Dynamite, where the ball spins.
Oh,
around?
It's
yeah.
a great game.
Tetherball?
Tetherball.
That's what I imagine
Tetherball
at
is
a crappy
great.
hotel.
I
than-
picture like the ring that you have to throw onto the hook.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a
that's-
Stand
bar.
there and you throw the ring.
That's
Yeah.
at like a bar.
I'm
A
telling
ring
you,
on a hook.
the staple to a motor lodge in New England, because that's where Greg was talking about, it is. It's shuffleboard. It's an old band on a stage that's about to collapse. There's a soda machine.
I'll trust you
Yes.
guys on this.
a pool that's slightly green,
Yeah,
but not
yes,
too
yes.
green.
A general store right down the streets.
Right,
You
big
can walk-
bulky,
yes, right.
big bulky ice machine
Love a
in
John
front of
Deere store.
my room, so that in the middle of the night people are getting ice at 3 a.m.
Right.
I'm trying to sleep. It's a vibrating bed, which isn't working. You put quarters in it, it doesn't work. It's ridiculous.
I feel like
Yeah.
they go too far out of their way to get that ice machine like in a separate room. It's like it's fine. I can deal with 12 seconds of ice noise outside my room. There's always you always have to walk through 2 doorways just to get through this damn ice machine.
I disagree. I don't want the ice machine anywhere near me.
No, I don't either.
Yeah,
It's a nice little sound.
I don't
when
want a
you're-
room by the
it?
elevators.
Sleeping?
You know,
Really? Are you a first floor man in a motor lodge?
I don't like the first floor.
Well,
I feel
in a
like that's
motor-
how you're most susceptible to crime.
In a motor lodge, it's almost always first floor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 story.
Occasionally they'll have 2 stories.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the luxurious ones.
Yes.
But that's when you're creeping from motor lodge to motel, you know? I think
Yeah.
that's the distinction.
Right.
The second story.
I think that is the distinction. I
Yeah.
think a motor lodge inherently is 1 floor only. Am I right, Roy?
is the
I believe
Schitt's
you are.
Creek Hotel a motor lodge?
Yeah, that would be a motor lodge.
Just trying to
Schitt's
visualize
Creek.
here.
Yeah, very much so.
Hank Tanana.
You take Greg on this road trip across the country. You take a hotel over a motel.
Nowadays, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
But what about back in the day?
Back
Yeah.
in the day, we would leave 1440 in a big sedan with
Right.
my dad driving.
Yep.
The mom in the front seat, me and Uncle Dick in the back seat. We would be driving, balling the jack, doing like 500 miles a day, stopping at a little motor lodge, and we thought we were on top of the world.
Oh, yeah.
There'd always be like a little cheap steakhouse next to it, a Sizzler or
Right.
something like that. And
Yep.
we'd feel like kings and queens going into a cheap steakhouse because that was like high living at the time. And that's the reason we didn't fly, is that we couldn't afford it. So it took us like 3 or 4 days to get from here to Lawrence, Massachusetts, where we would visit the Lonats. And it was a wonderful time, great memories.
The Lonats?
What are the Lonats up to?
Yeah.
Most of them are dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
Frank and Hank.
yeah. No, my cousin Georgie's still alive. But
Georgie
he's,
Lanat's still with us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
When
all
was the
right.
last time you've seen Georgie?
yeah. What's
It's
Georgie
been
up
years.
to?
Yeah, was he at the
Years.
birthday party?
Let's call him.
No, he was not. My brother sees him quite a bit still.
Dick does?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why do you want to call Georgie?
Sketch up, man. You never know when it's going to be the last one.
Nah, it's a long story. We won't get onto that.
Oh,
in
we're
here.
not on speaking terms with the Lonats, with Georgie
No,
Lanat?
I mean, it's a long, complicated story.
Oh, well, we got time.
Not-
and what do we have?
not
Like
made
2 more
for air.
hours here? Oh.
Yeah.
Hank Ocean.
Georgie was offended that Gary the Bag was invited to his birthday party. And he
Harry
wasn't
was
Oh,
his
Georgie
brother.
Lanat didn't make it down to the party?
No, he did not.
No.
even invited, I don't
boy.
think.
Well, for
that's terrible.
reasons related to my previous comment on it being a complicated story.
I love the idea of you printing out the MapQuest directions.
Oh,
Triptych. It's a different
I
thing,
loved
man. They don't understand triptych, Greg.
No.
They just don't get it.
no, if you're left there with a booklet, like a thick triptych. It
Oh,
was like
and
that.
if multiple states, you had a couple different.
Oh my God, it was great. And they tell you about nowadays you can get it on your iPhone, but
Yeah.
back then they told you when construction was happening. When you might want to veer
Planned
off.
construction,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was a huge fan of triptych.
As soon as you'd cross state line, you'd switch out the triptych to the new state.
Yep.
That's when living was living. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's when you didn't mind getting lost. You got lost, but you had your triptych, and it showed you how to find the way back. And it's not necessarily just get right back on the same interstate. No. There's multiple paths
Right.
to every destination.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you didn't find it on the triptych, you stopped at the gas station
And
or
you
the
asked
general
I miss
store.
those
You
days.
just asked
Yes.
someone.
You said, "Hey, buddy, I'm looking for Route 64. Any idea where I can find it?" He's like, "Sure, follow me. I'll take you there."
Yep.
That was a different time.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
He would leave his post, leave his job, and you would follow him out to the highway.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Put up the be back in 5 minutes signs, and then
Yes.
you help old Greggy out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Yeah,
Are you
it
guys
really
just
was.
describing the end of the movie The Graduate or something?
It was just an easier time.
I'm really uneasy about this whole Georgie Lanat situation. I'm going to be
Why?
honest with you.
What's the matter?
I feel like we opened a can we weren't supposed to open today,
Yeah.
so I apologize
Yeah,
for
you
that, Greg.
continue to open the lid a little bit further.
No, I'm trying to
bringing
close
it
it,
out.
trying to seal the old Georgie Lanat
Yeah, let's-
lid. You know what I
let's do
mean?
that.
I'm curious. I mean, curiosity killed the cat.
Okay.
I'm a dog, but
No one loves
Okay.
dropping a name
not.
that no one knows out of left field more than my dad, and then we go too far, and he's like, "Why are you bringing this guy up?" He's
Right.
like, you mentioned George Lanat.
I made a casual.
We're here
reference.
because of you.
He said the
No.
Lonats.
When there's more follow-ups on George Lanat, it's your fault.
I said the Lanats. We were visiting.
No,
Billy-
and then you said my cousin Georgie.
Billy had the follow-up.
You think
Last
Billy
living
said Georgie
Lanat.
Lanat,
He's the last living Lanat.
but you
Oh,
brought him
no.
up.
You brought the family.
does Georgie
I
have?
brought the family
Does
up.
Georgie have any? Not to get too into any offspring.
He does.
Okay, so the Lanat name will live on.
Yeah, it will.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. That was my concern.
Yeah, they continue to live in the New England area, mostly Massachusetts, right near Lawton's Hot Dogs.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Is that the one you were going to buy?
It was.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it slid into the Merrimack River and was never heard from again.
Did it really?
Yeah, the whole Lawton's Hot Dogs.
Wow.
It was a trailer.
Is that
It was
true?
Yeah, it was a little hot dog joint built on a trailer right across from Merrim's Knitting Mill, what used to be called
Best
Merrim's
hot dogs
Knitting
you've
Mill.
ever had, probably.
They were great. Yeah.
What happened? Erosion?
Yeah, I think so. It was right on the edge of the Merrimack, and eventually it just eroded and fell right in the river. It was on tough times anyway. They were looking to sell. My brother and I actually
boy,
talked about
insurance
buying
scam.
Could
them,
have saved it.
buying it, but
They noticed that the building was leaning.
that conversation didn't go
That's why
very
it never
far.
sold, Roy. That thing's fallen into the river.
My wife won't let me invest in a restaurant. She thinks that's the worst way to spend your money.
Well, she was right about that one. It fell into a river.
It's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Why? Do you still want to do it?
I would have bought Lawton's Hot Dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
So that dream has died.
Yes. Well, theoretically, I could buy the name and the recipe and open it up again.
Yeah.
You know, but if I'm going to do that, it would be with Villa Rose Pizza in my own area.
Another place that closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wants to save it.
Yeah,
That's what
wrong
he's saying.
management. Exactly right.
Right,
I
yeah.
feel like Greg might be the one to step in and save a restaurant, you know?
I think so.
Yeah.
This is just to kind of bring everything back. This is what Hank should be doing, not these cover bands for all the fame and glory. How about you go through and you save these classic restaurants that are closing down?
I
'Cause
think
they have
you're right,
the wrong,
Billy.
the
Yeah.
wrong ownership group.
I think, the guy in Billions, what he did was he saved his local pizza joint that was about to shut down. He gave them the necessary funds to stay open and continue to fund that restaurant. And
Yes.
so I'm coming around to what Billy is saying. I think Hank should not be doing Bruce Springsteen cover bands. He should be saving local businesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Yep. Mm-hmm.
Including local bands,
Well,
right?
Wait. Huh? Run that
Pay
one by
for-
us?
And we're back.
Pay for a local band.
Exactly
that's
right.
just
You
having a tough time
Thank
making
you.
ends meet.
Yeah, Greg's right. So you go and you save a classic restaurant, and then
You
you
don't-
have
I
an
see.
open mic night, and you bring in the bands. They can perform there, and you're doing the Lord's work, really. You know what I mean? You go and you do your little Simpsons voices when people come in. You're running the counter. Hey, I want to buy a pizza from, I don't know, Mo or whatever. He's like,
Right.
"Rah, rah, rah, rah," whatever it is that Mo says. You know what I mean? You give him a slice of pizza. You save the establishment. Put on an apron. Toss some dough.
Yeah.
Make some pizza. Do the voices. Have some bands.
Make some pizza.
So you don't start
Toss
your own
some
band.
dough.
I think Billy's right.
It is the Lord's work.
You don't start your own band, you save bands. Major League Baseball. Oh, geez.
Life is worth living. Hi, Dan, and listeners of the show. You're probably wondering, why does Lucy look so extra beautiful and extra radiant and extra like a supermodel today? It's because Oregon is awesome. Like, this place is so cool. Everybody's so nice. It's so beautiful. The people are so friendly. The colors are cool. The mascot is awesome. It doesn't look anything like a Big Ten campus, but it's so Big Ten. It rocks. And even the Ohio State fans have been nice. I frickin' love it. Stugotz.
Go, Ducks, baby! Bring it away! Big
Oh my God! Okay, we're all family.
We're all family, cousins.
Cousins. Okay, so there's no way that you could just end that after the game, though. It's not. You can't divorce. Do you like each other?
We'll see after the game.
Oh my God!
Buckeyes all the way.
Either way.
Buckeyes all the way.
It's either way.
She's gonna be hot in that thing. One of the most special parts of Oregon game day is this big, giant inflatable dock. Second, it's the river walk, where all the fans walk across this like river over here to get from campus to the stadium. It's like a 30-minute walk. That's why everybody looks so fit here. How has your experience been here at Oregon?
I grew up here and moved to Ohio 40 years ago, and my grandmother is spinning in her grave so hard I bet there's a grass fire up on Bailey Hill.
His grandmother was one of the founders of Eugene, Oregon.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
And he's
Yes,
Ohio
we're
State,
the Bailey
right?
family.
How old are you? What has your experience been with Ohio State fans so far?
They're nice, but they're smug. He's not very bright.
We're sleeping with the enemy.
I was at the grocery store this morning and a man came up to me and said, "You don't stand a chance." And I said, "I'm just trying to buy my eggs, thank you."
They've been infiltrating the campus. Guys, what are you doing here? You're from Ohio.
Hey, we can all get along, right? Come on.
Let's just pretend for a second, disgusting enough, that I'm an Ohio State fan. What would you say to me?
Go!
For college football fans, no, we cannot.
Fuck Ohio! We going in today, they going home!
Are you familiar with the fit check?
Oh, my fit's on fire.
Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State.
All right, so about 12 years ago, I was given this rubber ducky. My mom gave me a hard hat, and I was like, I glued it here. But now I got about 7-inch lags in here.
How do you feel about Ohio State trying to trademark the word "the"?
It's kind of arrogant.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard coming from a state like Ohio.
We are the Ohio State University.
But we are the University of Oregon, so that wouldn't really make sense, would it?
Do you know what a Buckeye is?
A bee?
Sorry excuse for a mascot in college football.
I assume it's one of these things on his neck.
Poisonous nut.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Ducks eat nuts, no way.
Sometimes feel like a nut.
What's that nut?
He's nuts.
How are you guys liking the Big Ten so far?
We're loving the Big Ten. We're eating it up. Florida.
This is one of the biggest games that we've ever seen here, so it's really cool to see thousands of people on our campus.
Welcome to the real deal, that Pac-10. Come on, man.
There's a rumor that people in Ohio eat pets and dogs and cats. Today, all we eat is duck.
That has been in his notes app for 3 weeks. Do you guys have a favorite Big Ten team? We are looking for a specific answer here.
Wisconsin, because we always beat them in the Rose Bowl.
That's a really good answer. What's your least favorite thing about the Big Ten so far?
I'd say Ohio State and Michigan.
Did Michigan cheat last year?
Yes. Oh, my God, yes. Can I just say Michigan? No, I can't say that. Michigan.
Absolutely.
I don't know why they haven't been stripped yet of their championship.
If you were to lose to the team up north this year, which I don't think you were. Listen. Let me finish. Don't be disrespectful. If you lose to that team this year, do you think your head coach should be fired?
He's gone.
We're trying to recruit Counter Stallions.
Stallions, if you're hearing this, you're a cheater.
But they'd like to work with you. Anything else you guys want to say to the Dan Le Batard Show?
Shout out my dad. I know you love watching the show, so this is very, very awesome to be on the show, so thank you.
Hey, Dan, I like you a lot, so I'm a big fan, so thank you. I love my Dan Le Batard, and this is amazing for me. I feel like I've arrived at Autzen. Dan, hey, anytime you want to come to Oregon, I'm going to take you out. We're going to go track down pizza, and we're going to have a good time doing it. All right, appreciate you.
I love you too, Dan. Let's talk about a race. that college football is the best sport in the goddamn world. And maybe my favorite weekend we've had so far. College football.
This is dizzying, trying to get used to all the conference changes. I can't get used to Oregon being in the Big Ten.
It's Oregon.
Whatever. I can't get used to SMU being in the ACC.
Right.
Everything is turned upside down, but I will say this. I watched every minute of that Oregon-Ohio State game.
Great game.
One of the greatest college football games. This isn't recency bias. It was a great game. Weren't there like 8 lead changes?
Yes.
It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you weren't a fan of college football, you're watching that going, oh, my God, I can't not watch this.
It was such a good game. I'm with you, Greg, but I was watching this while I was watching LSU, Ole Miss, and Tennessee, Florida, and Iowa State, West Virginia. That was my Saturday night quad box. They all ended up being really good games, and the 2 of those games went into overtime, Florida and Tennessee, and LSU, Ole Miss. It was such a great Saturday college football day. But I'm with you. Oregon, Ohio State definitely lived up to the billing. I thought both teams were really, really good, and I would not be surprised if we saw a rematch later this year. But I felt awful for Will Howard on that last drive, running down the middle of the field, running out of time, and the game ending, and him just looking up at the clock like, oh, crap.
That's on coaching, no? Like, there just wasn't enough time there.
Right.
That didn't seem like that was. I didn't put that on Will Howard. Like,
no,
why?
I don't think he should get crushed for it. It was just an awful, that's just an awful feeling. I think if you're him, I think the OPI call is what totally killed them in that drive because they were so out of field goal range. There's no way they could have kicked it without him getting something a little bit closer, and then they just didn't have the time for it. And of course, there was the 12-man on the field penalty, which took some time off the clock too. So bad management. Lincoln Riley also, I think, should be getting hammered for his clock management today because the end of that Penn State USC game.
Well, same with James Franklin, too.
Okay, go.
There's a timeout he didn't call, which would have given his team like 30-some-odd seconds to kick a field goal in regulation to win the game. I mean.
And the flip side of that, Lincoln Riley gets like 2 plays off in like a minute and a half. Like, it was just crazy. And then he said after the game he didn't want to give them time to have another drive to win it in regulation. So it was just like a whole day of weird clock management.
Now, I'm not accusing Lucy of this. I'm asking the question. I'm doing the Dan move. I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just asking you if you'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
Does she call every place her favorite?
Or
has she only done that a couple times?
She's done it a handful of times. I think she's only not liked maybe like one place.
Miami.
Well, I was going to say, one college football place.
But she's on a 2-game winning streak now, right?
Yeah, she is.
Finally. She is, yeah.
No. South Carolina lost last week.
2 out of 3?
2 out of 3, but
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
So,
Good correction.
She was cursed for most of the season, and then Alabama won, but then they lost to Vanderbilt the next week. So I think that the curse still applies in that case.
Ryan Day should be in trouble, right? He has the best winning percentage of all active college football coaches, and yet he's constantly on the hot seat.
It can't be good for him when all you hear about his team, it's the best roster money can buy. That's just not a good, you got to win when you have that saying about your team.
I think this season is still a little young. You can't be panicking after this game. It was a really good game. Both teams had chances to win it. If this had been like an Oregon blowout over Ohio State and Ohio State had some like glaring issues, then yeah, I think he looks like he's in trouble. But I don't know. They both have tough schedules going forward. Ohio State, he has to beat Michigan this year, right?
Well, he has Penn State before that.
Yeah,
at
Penn State.
Right.
But like the thing that fans at Ohio State are the most, I think, upset about, one of the things is his record against Michigan has been so bad. But this year, Michigan has no quarterback, essentially. They've already lost a couple games in the Big Ten. Like, you have to beat them this year.
By the way, why do you make fun of me when I say Oregon?
I used to say Oregon as well.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Because it's not really how people say it.
Who?
Are you sure?
Oregon.
I think it's a tomato situation.
Is it?
I think it's like an Oregonian thing. They get mad when you say Oregon.
When you say it that way, it makes me make a face. Like every time you say it, I go, ooh.
So I got to say Oregon.
That's correct, yes.
With a heavy emphasis on the OR.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon.
No, it's the good.
Oregon.
Oregon. Seriously. That's the way we grew up saying it. Oregon.
That's the way I grew up saying it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that every time I used to say Oregon, Dan would make the same face that Christopher made when you said Oregon.
It's so weird.
How many times are you going to call me Christopher today?
I don't know. I don't know why I'm calling you Christopher either.
Keep it
your
up.
dad does it. I like it. I think.
right.
What's wrong with it? You don't like it?
It's one of those things that only my parents call me Christopher.
I feel like a parent, though.
And it's funny because when I first was with this show on air, Dan called me Christopher.
Right.
Yeah,
and I think I had to, like, a month in, just be like, yeah, Chris.
Right.
I prefer Chris, yeah.
So you're doing it on air rather than pulling me aside and saying, hey, stop calling me Christopher.
It's just, you've never done
weird.
it before.
It's
and
weird,
you did it
yes.
a couple times today. And I'm
I
just, it's just funny.
Yeah. How about if I call you Chris? Weird, right?
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. That's not.
I could safely say for the second consecutive week that Caleb Williams is playing better than Jaden Daniels. Couldn't say it the first few weeks. You can say it now. The Bears have a quarterback. They have wide receivers. They have a good team. I predicted them to go to the Super Bowl. But Caleb Williams appears to be better than Jaden Daniels. Well, he does.
Well, did you think Jaden Daniels had a bad game yesterday?
No, I thought Jaden Daniels had a good game yesterday. He was fine.
Is it possible they're both just very good?
Why do we have to put them against each other?
They're both
because we're going to put them against each other for the remainder of time. I mean, that's...
But they're both good.
Is it like we did with Tua and Herbert? Maybe they just both aren't good, and these two both are good.
No, I'm just saying with Caleb Williams, for the first 3 weeks, if you're a Bears fan, you were thinking to yourself, oh, we took the wrong guy. And I'm not certain Bears fans are saying that anymore because the last 2 weeks he's been really, really good. That's all.
Oh, don't people, like, you got to have a little more patience, no? Were Bears fans really doing that after 4 games? I feel like
I don't
slow down.
I don't think so, Chris.
Let's slow down. And yeah, I feel like
there was a lot of like, same old Bears, but I don't think they were ready to like close the book on Caleb Williams.
No, I think you guys are wrong. I think when a quarterback goes number 2 and that guy comes out of the gates and he's as good as Jaden Daniels has been, you're a Bears fan. You might think to yourself, hey, Caleb's still going to be good, but we didn't take the guy, guy. You know, we had a chance to take him, and we took the wrong guy.
I hear you, but my entire family in Chicago are Bears fans, and I watched the whole Bears-Rams game with them, and they were as hard on the Bears as anyone, and I wasn't like, not the whole, people weren't blaming Caleb Williams for that. They were like, man, the Bears organization stinks. And we hate our owners.
They were saying the reason Caleb was bad was because of the organization.
No, they were just like, oh, like he's young and he'll get better. Like they weren't freaking out about Caleb Williams. That's all I'm trying to say. They were not freaking out about Caleb Williams, and I think that the next 3 games, the Bears play the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Patriots. He'll probably continue to look good, and then their schedule gets tough again, and he might struggle again. But this is like the ups and downs of a rookie quarterback.
I just put this all through the Tua prism, and I see 2 quarterbacks that can just do it all. Like, you need a quarterback. Caleb Williams was great with his legs yesterday at times. I know he had 4 passing touchdowns, but he still made plays with his legs. I think he's the first guy in London to have 50-plus rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in a game. And it's just, like, as a quarterback. And it's just... I just see Tua, and I know we're talking about Caleb Williams right now, but I just do through the prism of these guys. This is the quarterback you want. You want a guy that can make it plays out of the pocket, and it's just I just see Tua as this guy that needs everything to be perfect in the pocket, and it's just like we are so far away. That's what I learned watching the Bears, how far away the Dolphins are.
By the way, quick Tua update from today. Mike McDaniel said Tua will not be playing this week, but they do expect him to play at some point this season. So anyone who was questioning whether or not there was a plan for him to retire, it seems as though they are planning on him playing at some point this season moving forward.
Right. Yeah, he couldn't play at Indy. That's the 4th game of his being on IR, so he was mandated to be out. He could play the following week, the home game against Arizona, but whether he will or not, that it almost makes it sound like he won't. It's pretty depressing to hear McDaniel at this point in the season go, he'll be back at some point this season. It makes you think he might be out a few more weeks. But to Christopher's point, if you have a young quarterback, it's so much better if he's a dual threat. And Brock Purdy, by the way, who you don't think of as a running quarterback, Brock Purdy has made a lot of nice first down runs.
He can move enough.
Season. Yeah, he can move enough. And
it's kind of like Duncan Robinson. Whenever he makes a play at the basket, you're always surprised. You're like, Brock Purdy can get out of the pocket.
He can scoot.
He can actually move.
Yeah, but it really, you watch that and you go, wow, that's what we're missing from Tua. He's a young quarterback. He just doesn't do that. He doesn't give your offense that extra element.
But he showed signs when he was playing. He showed like the ability to kind of move around and create more time for himself. He did, Chris.
Some
Better,
of that.
better than he was in the past. No?
Not for me.
Really?
For me, Tua, he's so inaccurate out of the pocket. It's just, I'm down on Tua right now.
People are going to start judging whether or not he should come back or not.
Oh, he'll come back. I worry, though, that the next concussion ends his career. That's what I worry about with him. He'll come back and he'll be fine.
The
and
fifth one, not, but the sixth one, you're like, that's the line.
Look, there's a line in everything, right? There's a line you don't cross in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And with Tua, I feel like it's the next concussion ends his career.
Didn't you
hope I'm
just
wrong.
write a column about ripping people for making him retire for the last
Yes,
one? But
right.
the next one, he should retire.
That's the
No,
line.
he's
found the
saying
line.
he's just worried about the next one. We
Right.
should all be worried about
you
the
wrote
next
the
one.
column of let him make the decision.
Yes.
Everyone stop making him retire.
No.
And you just said, but the next one, he should retire. Like you're
No,
talking
I
out of
didn't
both
say
sides of your
that.
mouth.
I did not say the next one he should retire. I'm worried that the next concussion will lead to his retiring against his will. The NFL has a
That's
protocol
an odd
here.
distinction you're making.
No, it isn't. I'm not saying after the next concussion he needs to retire. If you open your ears and listen, what I'm saying is I fear that the next concussion will lead to the end of his career. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it isn't so.
But people are saying that about this concussion.
Okay.
And you're saying that.
And you're saying, hey, you stop people. Don't be talking about a man's career.
Well, the last thing I don't want is the Las Vegas Raiders coach, a sitting coach of another team, meddling in another team's affairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
What, Greg?
I don't want Mike McDaniel saying, "Oh, they should start Aiden over Minshew." That's not another team's business. Mind your own business, Vegas. You know, how about win a game instead of worrying about what another team's doing with their quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
What Greg is saying, so people are saying Tua should decide to retire, Tua should retire. I think Greg's point is after the next one, he doesn't think that decision is going to be up to Tua. It's going to be made for him, and he doesn't think that
I
that's
think
right.
my dad's pivoting because I called him out, and he found a way to make it make
Open your
more
ears.
sense.
I don't think you're being
I
nice
think
to your
when he-
dad.
Not
I
opening
think
your ears.
when he originally
Classic
said
Ladot
it,
behavior.
he said, I think he should retire after his next concussion.
Okay,
and then
roll
when I
the
called
tape.
you out on your
Roll the
article,
tape.
you're like, no. I'm saying that the league will make
Okay,
him retire.
roll the tape on what I originally said.
Cut that up for me, guys.
I dare you.
Wow, you've
I
been
dare you.
dared.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Don't double dare, because then he's got to do it.
Right.
Triple dog dare.
If you
now.
double
Get the
dare him,
double
he
dare.
has to do it,
He
just
has
so you
to.
know.
I
right.
triple dare.
Well, hold
him.
on. Whoa,
Wow,
Summers
a
over
triple
there.
dare. What does that
yeah,
mean?
triple dare. Oh,
Guys,
wow.
it's a Monday. Stugotz has called this one of the greatest days of his life, potentially.
Yes.
Roy's excited because we're honoring the legacy of Christopher Columbus by playing hockey at 1 o'clock.
I am not.
Let's all just reel it in a little bit. We're getting a little crazy here. Just jump into the triple dares, okay? Like, just
Right.
let's all.
Everyone calm
Same
down.
team, exactly
Yes.
right. Let's
He
all
ignored
just
my
come
double
on.
dares.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you went straight to triple.
Had to raise the stakes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a winning hand. I raised the stakes. What am I going to do?
I'm going to go to weekend observations.
Ooh.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, just 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan,
Where?
I'm here. Where are you? Vacationing in Los Angeles, the city of angels, Tinseltown. I won't mention how you vacation shame me. I'm a bigger person than that. And I most certainly won't say how if you were an animal, you'd be a hypocrite.
Oh.
Never even crossed my mind. But fear not, listeners. Don't worry. I'm here for you. Greg is here for you. Roy is here for you.
Hi.
Chris is here for you. Jess is here for you. Billy is here for you. And just like that, make no mistake about it, the lazy river is back. Texas, Oklahoma. Don't throw out the record books. Throw out Oklahoma's offense. Nick Sirianni getting into it with fans after beating the 1-5 Browns. Somehow a coach and a city have never deserved each other more. That's a match made in heaven, is it not?
It is.
Sirianni in
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Love it.
He should bark back at the fans. Who cares?
Yep.
The fans are proud of it, no? When you pepper Sirianni in Philadelphia, what you want is reaction from Sirianni.
Yes.
And they got their reaction.
Yeah, they love him more because of it.
Yep. I love it when they call a quarterback run a scamper.
Kind of makes me hungry.
Oh, I love a scamper.
Shrimp scampi.
Shrimp scamper. Jewish BYU quarterback, Jake Retzlaff. I'm not sure you should have played, but I'm sure glad you did. Had the Cougars -5. Shalom. BYU. More like BYU. They should have played BYU's game at sundown. That reminds me to my friends Tariq Cohen and Juju Smith-Schuster. Hope you had an easy fast. Mike McCarthy, dead man walking. By the time I read this tomorrow, Mike McCarthy should be fired. Stash this away in the Something to Ponder file. How sad the drive home must be for anybody who loses, who dresses up in a costume to a game. No need to discuss now. Just stash it away for a rainy day. That has to be a tough drive.
Oh, man.
You're in costume, you're all fired up, and you lose.
Yeah.
By the time I read this tomorrow, Bill Belichick should be hired. Ryan Day is 1-7 against top 5 teams at Ohio State. Nobody does less with more. Mike Vrabel, Ohio State, collision course. Oregon's true test as a Big Ten team is next week on the road at Purdue. Purdue's tough. They were bad a week ago. That was a close game against
really
Illinois.
Good.
Right.
It was really good.
But welcome to Big Ten football.
Purdue, Illinois is always weird.
But Oregon's not going to know what to do.
Purdue, they're giant killers.
They are.
Maybe not this year, though.
I know.
Telling you why that game was close? Because I had Illinois -23.
So did I.
I think the world did.
You're on fire, buddy. Chris Cody is on a heater right
in the
now.
NFL.
Oh, my God. College football coaches, bad clock management, a tale as old as time.
Literally.
Is it? Have we considered this? Maybe Vanderbilt is just good. Vandy. Just good. When the Cardinals aren't playing well, Kyler Murray looks shorter. Laughing at my own jokes.
You ain't wrong.
He does, right?
Yeah.
Also enough. Tired of waiting for that guy to be good. Jim Harbaugh changing his pants mid-game. The Paul Pierce is strong in you. Why are we showing commercials for what game Tom Brady will be broadcasting? He's a bust. Who cares?
Do you not hear the update on Harbaugh?
What happened?
Why he missed the part of the game?
No.
Let's leave it. Let's leave it your way.
What happened?
He just wanted to change his pants. He nailed it.
Well, Paul Pierce is strong in him.
He had some heart flutters.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Arrhythmia.
His heart, is he okay?
That was the most shocking thing about all that he would leave the field if his heart fluttered. I pictured of all the coaches, like, I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'll go out
My heart's
right
fine.
here.
He had a procedure on it a few years ago.
He's a history, yeah.
Really?
But still.
Should I take that back?
He seemed of all the if you said to me, name a coach that will just play through a heart flutter.
Yeah.
I'd
Tough
say
it
it's
out.
Jim Harbaugh.
Tomlin.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotta
Tomlin.
tough that out.
But he changes pants. I mean,
Why?
when your heart flutters, do you change your pants?
Where
What
did
happens?
the pants thing come from?
What am I missing here?
Where's his heart located?
Shouldn't be laughing. Paul Pierce had a heart flutter, too. The truth. Total lot. Back to Brady. Why? He's not good.
He's getting better.
Yeah. Sorry, Jim. You know what the T in Detroit Tigers stands for? Not Team of Destiny. LSU. The rare game where you don't lead for a second and still somehow win the game. Death Valley at night. Goosebumps. Lane Kiffin. If you thought you were waltzing into Death Valley on a Saturday night and walking out alive, you thought wrong. Alabama fans saying it's embarrassing that LSU fans rush the field. Alabama fans, you know what's embarrassing? Losing to Vanderbilt's. Jason Taylor's son is LSU's star tight end. Holy shit, we're old, Greg.
Wow. Seriously.
I mean, you're old, but I mean, that
Right,
really
I'm
made me
literally
feel
old.
Dylan Gabriel really seems to have really figured it out in his 7th season of college football. I mean, seriously, sometimes all it takes is just a change of scenery or two.
Or 3.
How long has that guy been playing?
A long time.
I think I just said it, 7 years. Florida has 2 offensive line coaches. You know what they say, Greg?
What's that?
If you have 2 offensive line coaches, you don't have one.
You got that right.
Thank you. James Franklin on a big stage. Lincoln Riley against a top 5 team. Unstoppable force. Meet immovable object. Death, taxes, and Penn State having a good tight end. James Franklin did everything he could to lose that game. Lincoln Riley just wanted to lose it more. Penn State's tight end taking snaps at quarterback is so Penn State. Nobody, and I mean nobody, establishes the run like Army, except maybe Navy. This is our year, man. Billy and I have been talking about Army and Navy for 5 years. They're undefeated. Playoff teams.
Jim Harbaugh was wearing the same pants when he left and came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gray.
Really?
Is that what you've been doing over there?
I've been. I couldn't.
He had the same pants on? Did he change pants, though? Like,
What?
did he change from his gray pants? Did he have a
To
backup
his
gray
other gray
pants?
pants?
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
You don't know that for sure.
You don't
That's
know.
true.
I think
Right.
people saw him come back in gray and thought he must have started in khaki, so that he must have changed his pants.
It is odd to see him not in khaki pants. I will give you that.
Thank you.
You just assume he's always in khakis.
Correct.
I'll look into this.
More?
Yeah.
Okay. Just so we're clear, Mike Ryan said that every team that Miami has beat would be ranked if they had won. That's the information you were looking for before. Did he say that? Where did he say that?
He said it on our show.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
The Raiders have played the exact same game for 100 weeks in a row. Rutgers has the same season every season. Every time Caleb Williams takes the field, a Bears fan should thank a Panthers fan. The 4 best teams in the NFC are in the NFC North gauntlet. So good. AFC South, more like the Wild West. When you see somebody punch out a football, you have to scream ball. Like in your living room. You do. Ball! Jacksonville should leave Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence in London. They play again there next week, but the rare coach and quarterback that get left in London while the team is still playing in London. Just leave them there.
Seriously.
How about Peterson saying there's a culture problem?
It starts with who?
Him?
Yeah.
You're in charge of that?
Unbelievable.
Dan Quinn must feel like he hit the lottery watching Jaden Daniels play quarterback. Derrick Henry, MVP, collision course. Rick Pitino speaking with Kentucky's team after practice while still actively the head coach at St. John's feels premature. Rick Pitino said of his return to Rupp Arena, "It was one of the best nights of my life. Nights are the only thing Pitino knows." Drake May, hope. The M in May stands for maybe. It also stands for maybe not. The D in Drake stands for don't know. Top 5 people in sports that connote a month on the calendar. Number 5, June Jones. Number 4, legendary golfer, Don January.
Nice.
He's not a legend. Number 3, Bobby April. Number 2, Drake May. Number 1, Reggie Jackson. Mr. October.
April Ross,
Oh,
beach volleyball player.
also Taylor. Here comes the hockey club. Just for you, Roy.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's weird to have a team in Utah.
Yes.
Weirder, they're called the hockey club.
I know, it's so weird.
Kalen DeBoer, You never want to be the guy that replaces the guy. Alabama, the rare win that felt like a loss. Death, taxes, and Will Levis throwing an interception that just rips your heart out. The Sixers said they are going to hold out Joel Embiid for the preseason. They should hold him out for the regular season as well. The Lions beat the holy hell out of the Cowboys. Speaking of hell, or Bryles. Dan, wherever you are, those are the weekend observations.